Welcome to the weekend. I'm Ananda, the Galactic Mystic, and this is your navigational astrology forecast for the weekend, September 10th, 11th, and 12th. This is going to be a great weekend to navigate the leading edge of human consciousness. Okay, so on Friday, September 10th, the moon is still, not the moon, the sun is still in Virgo, the moon is in Scorpio, and Venus is at 29 degrees of Libra. She is going to be moving into Scorpio on Saturday, September 11th. So on Friday, we may actually be feeling a little bit tired. And once Venus moves into Scorpio, you might actually feel this because 0 degrees of Scorpio in navigational astrology is a very important degree. And it has to do with math and geometry, sacred geometry, but ultimately 0 degrees of Scorpio represents a place of perfect loss of equilibrium. It is a breaking out point into a next level or another level. In that loss of equilibrium is necessary. It's a type of birth axis. If you can think about the act of being born, or even we can connect it into the crescent moon phase, which is where we are this weekend. We have exited the new moon energy. Of course, we carry it with us, but the seed that was planted at the new moon has been drawn up through the fertile soil by the light of the sun. And there is a type of loss of equilibrium when we are reaching for something new, when we are being born, and all the metaphors that go along with being born, and closing one door and opening a next, and the portal that connects those two things, the sacred divine feminine womb. Today Spirit has been pummeling me with the symbolism of the Holy Grail. And I'm really connecting this with this crescent moon phase, this Scorpio moon that we're going to have all weekend, and then Venus moving into Scorpio as well. So what do we do in this space of the sacred divine womb? Well, we certainly can't think our way out of it. We can't rationalize our way out of it. All we can do is surrender to it. But it is a power that we have to surrender. And the axis of Scorpio and Taurus in navigational astrology is the axis of power. It is at the end of that tunnel, or at the, once the seedling reaches the top of the soil and has access to the sunlight, it has the power to turn that sunlight into food. Photosynthesis, which is a totally magical process. I mean, it's just completely divine. And then in that place of having broken the surface, if you will, we then begin to gather strength. We get to harness the energy of this axis of power. Now, the sun is still coming into this opposition with Neptune. On Friday, the sun will be at 18 degrees. Neptune retrograde will be at 21 degrees. So we're at a 3-degree orb going to really, really begin to feel this more and more over the weekend. On Saturday, we'll close into 2 degrees. Mars is still holding court in Virgo with the sun. Mercury is in Libra. And then we have, you want to see the chart? Well, let me show it to you. Sometimes that helps. Okay, so this is Saturday, September 11th. And of course, this is a pretty important day for the United States. And, you know, just a little bit of a side note, the nodal axis, the north node here is on Saturday will be at 4 degrees. South node, north node, 4 degrees of Gemini, south node, 4 degrees of Sagittarius. And as this nodal axis continues to unwind, we will be revisiting the degree that the nodal axis was at when the Iraq War began. Now, isn't this a little bit interesting? That will happen in October. I did make a very casual video about it. I'll link that in the description if you like. I believe that was the workshop I did in my Facebook group, and I just posted it on here for you guys. But this is just very interesting. We are really getting into a period of time where it's going to feel like one thing after another. That's kind of going to be our experience through the fall and through the winter. And it's going to be a really big deal. And as these energies unwind, I know I just shifted gears and started talking about the nodal axis when it's not really what this is supposed to be about, but I go where I'm led. As this axis continues to unwind, it goes backwards. When it hits 1 degree of Sagittarius, that's when we're going to be revisiting that karmic energy of that. So it's going to be very interesting going forward. And this Sun Neptune opposition, let's talk about this some more, because this is there's so many layers to this aspect. Of course, there is the draw of our consciousness to our illusions and delusions, which I've been talking about the last few days. But what do we do then? What do we do once we have our consciousness looking at, you know, where we can't see clearly, where we don't know, where it's foggy? Well, it kind of goes back into that crescent phase, the power axis, surrendering into the divine feminine womb. This energy of seeing the truth or the uncomfortable truth, all we can do to deal with that is to turn within, to turn to our spiritual practice, to turn into our soul. And this is another part of this opposition, the draw of our consciousness to our soul, to our spiritual existence, to our transcendence, to the ways that we can observe consciousness from, you know, above or beside even, you know, if when you're in it, you can't always see it. You can't see the forest for the trees. So the sun in this opposition with Neptune is like, okay, you really need to see this. It's gonna really freaking suck for a minute, but let's get that over with. Let's get to what's real, which is what's within. Let's get our devotional practices on point. Let's get our mystical practices on point. Let's do all the things that matter. Do real things that matter. Spend time with your family. Take a walk outside. Look at the sky. cuddle an animal, the things that are real. And that coupled with turning to our true soul, our true, getting totally tongue-tied, our true essence, that is the way out. That's the coping mechanism. That's the leading edge way to navigate this opposition with the Sun and Neptune. On Sunday, Venus will already be at 2 degrees of Scorpio. The Sun will be entering the 3rd decan of Virgo. And this, my friends, is some boss energy. This is legacy building, all the comforts, all the things that matter that are real, like family, building your legacy, leaving a mark, comfort. You know, it's your family in your castle enjoying the journey of your life. What are you leaving behind? Are you building something substantial? Are you building out of bricks? Or are you building out of paper? Are you building out of like love and light? Are you building out of hopes and dreams and, you know, wishing on a prayer? Or are you building something real? That is the question. Now, on this day, the moon will be, Sunday is the day, the moon will be in Sagittarius. So we will feel a little more optimistic if Venus passing over that power degree and entering the depth, mysterious, secretive, intense, passionate realm of Scorpio, the Sagittarius moon could serve as an uplift, but it will be conjunct the South Node Sunday afternoon. So, you know, we could be a little bit nostalgic, but we may be able to look back with a wider lens, with more of a philosophical viewpoint and understanding. And that's always a gift when we can do that. I actually wanted to, I'm trying to get this oracle deck here. I wanted to pull an oracle card for us for the weekend. And this is the Khalil Gibran Prophet Oracle deck. And I love the book, The Prophet. Have you read it? My partner and I have a really magical story about this book, actually getting married very soon in a few days. And this story about the book, The Prophet, is pretty special. I'll share it with you one day. All right, so flew out. Okay, so the card we got, and this card is from the chapter of joy and sorrow. And it says, only when you are empty are you at standstill and balanced. Now tell me that doesn't sound a lot like a womb or a sacred cup, the Holy Grail. Let me read to you some more. Joy and sorrow. Some of you say joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nah, sorrow is greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits with you at your board, remember the other is asleep upon your bed. Verily, you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and your joy. Oh, I love that. Only when you are empty and you are at standstill and balanced, when the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and his silver, needs must your joy or your sorrows rise or fall. Up-leveling, how powerful is that? Only when you are empty are you at standstill and balanced, when the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and his silver. needs must your joy or your sorrow rise and fall. So we can think of this loss of equilibrium as the journey to that experience of joy from sorrow. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing, and come back every day and on Sunday for the Sunday video. And let's connect on social. Come see me. Until then, you know you are worthy of every good thing. So go forth and be awesome in the world. Have a great, great weekend, you guys.